2, 1, get 'em!
This week's episode is brought to you by Salt Creek, some of the best steel and TSS on the market, and Kicks Industries. The Smoke Series is my favorite. Welcome back to this week's YouTube Live in the podcast. My name's RD. Welcome to the Waterfowl Den. Hopefully everybody's having a good Wednesday afternoon. Boy, it's still hot outside. I know that wind's kicking up. They talking about rain for the rest of the week and weekend. We are much needing some rain. They're predicting a lot of rain, so hopefully they get it right. And even if they only get 50% right, that'd be more rain than we got in a long time. Hope everybody's doing good tonight. Tonight's episode is titled, "Is Hunting Becoming Too Expensive?" That's going to be our topic. And I'm sure somewhere along the way, we will have a squirrel moment. I'm 100% sure that's going to happen. But hopefully everybody's doing good tonight. Is hunting become too expensive? Like, can the average hunter still afford it? That's the question. And we're going to be talking a bunch of different talking points for each one. And I'm sure people fall into different categories on each one of these. But let's face it, for the most part, other than deer hunting, if we took deer hunting out, are we really hunting for the meat? We all say, oh, we hunt for the meat. It's all about the meat, putting meat in. Is it or is it a hobby and something that we like to do with our family and friends? I'd say other than the deer, because that's a lot of meat, and typically you could just pour out a lot of corn and get a doe for food. If we're talking just food. But most of the time, if we go somewhere hunting, waterfowl, if somebody gets a bird, if they don't get a bird, it's just personally fun to hang out with your buddies, the memories and all that. So let's talk about it tonight. Where's everybody watching from? I see some people online. Where y'all watching from? And what is your favorite season to hunt? Mine is definitely anything that's got wings. I am a wing shooter. I love when dove season comes in because that comes early teal and early goose. Then that leads into waterfowl, and then that leads into late goose, and then that leads into turkey season. So top of my favorites is anything with wings. Now, last week I got pointed out. South Carolina DNR did post waterfowl dates. It's on their Facebook. I wasn't looking there. I know if anybody tuned in last week, I was talking about it and they had the link and I was trying to click it and it wasn't going anywhere. So they have the 26, 27 waterfowl season dates out there. It's also on Instagram. So let's knock them out real quick. What's up, Jay Bird? Yeah, I know you in the turkeys and duck too. I right there with you. So we are going to get the whole month of September for early goose, which I figured that, and dove season starts September the 5th. It's typically the first Saturday. I didn't look see when that date is, but that's typically when it is. And I'm glad to see that we get a early teal season. It is September the 19th through the 27th in South Carolina. So I'm going to pull up my handy dandy calendar here. 19th through the 27th. So 19th is a Saturday, and then it goes out that next week on a Sunday. So we will get 8 days of teal season. Will the teals be here? I have no idea, but hopefully they are, and hopefully we get on them this year because last year was a bust. But that is out there, and I kind of railed on DNR for not putting them dates out there when they went into July. Into July, and having it where you posted click and it didn't go anywhere. The information was there, but it was on a different social media. So I'm clearing that up. That's right. Hey, sweetie, I was wrong. See, y'all heard me. I said I announced that I was wrong. She heard me. Did you hear me? Okay. At least one person heard me say I was wrong. So, talking points tonight. Is it becoming too expensive to hunt? Now, think about it. Now, I want you to think about this number. Don't say it out loud. Whatever you do, don't say it out loud. And if you do say it out loud, cut it by a fourth or maybe 3/4. How much do you think you spend in a year for hunting? I don't need you to put no input in on this over there either. How much do you spend in a year hunting? If you calculated from, let's say, January to January, that number probably would be pretty big. Like, I have a number inside top of my head. Let's just think about it. If you have a dove field, you are planting it. A bag of seed, I think, a bag of millet, what, 30, 40 bucks for one bag. And then you got tractor fuel, you got time, you got getting the tractor to the field. Let's just talk license cost. So each year, it seems like license keep going up. Depends on which state you're hunting out of. I hear you, Jay. Depends on which state you're hunting out of. States are changing their rules for people. Yeah, I bet you that's how much you spent. States are changing their rules for out-of-state permits, like out-of-state residents. Some of them, some states, we're just going to say most states allow you to get 1 day, 3 day, 5 day, 10 days, something like that, because they know you're not living in that state. Some states are now charging you the whole year. Oklahoma's that way. There's many states that they're going to get a whole year of waterfowl if you only hunt 3 days. Is that right? I mean, it's their rules, it's their sandbox, and we're just playing in it. You got different permits. You got game management permits. You got a duck stamp. Now you got other stamps. It just seems like there's more and more each year. Is it getting to a point that it's going to start affecting some people? I would say probably some people. Again, the ones that are saying, hey, I'm filling up my freezer, that's probably the deer hunters. That's pretty much going to be it. Because I ain't heard a single person that turkey hunts that says, I'm going out there to fill my freezer up, because you only get 2, and they're so hard to hunt in our state. The chances you getting 2 is greater if you hit them with your car and they're just running across the street. That's pretty much the gist of it. But when you start doing dove, geese, duck, turkey, deer, all that starts adding up. Now, you could get the sportsman. That does help you a little bit. But what are some of these other costs? Do you have a boat? Do you have a son or daughter who is now get to the age that now they got to buy a license? If they're young enough, you can buy a state license for their whole life, but it doesn't come with the extra permits. I think maybe possibly that you maybe could get like extra add-ons. I'm not 100% sure on that, but will they change the rules in the future? I don't know. So many different states require different classes. So is it getting a little bit too much? Maybe not yet on the license. I'm going to say that. Maybe not that much around here, but if each state that we hunt in required you to buy a whole year, now that would be totally different. That would be game changer. This year, I plan to hunt South Carolina, definitely, obviously, Georgia, and Michigan. What if Michigan and Georgia said, you know what, you got to buy a full year? Man, that'd be steep. You talking 3 states a full? That would probably, add to the fee. Would that change the way you plan out of trips? Just think if Arkansas had the rule but Mississippi didn't, would you just hunt on this side of Mississippi because now you're adding probably another $150 to your license? I mean, you got to think about stuff like that. What about fuel costs? Ain't none of that went down. I mean, I can hear my buddy talking now. You got that big old truck, that diesel. Yeah, that diesel. What the deal with diesel fuel is? That's like the dirtiest fuel ever, and it costs $1 more. But I just want y'all to say, my mid-size Honda truck, that's right, Honda truck is getting amazing fuel mileage. If you hadn't seen my new duck truck for this year, that fully leather, I'm telling you, boy, I'm really starting to like that Ridgeline. I'm for some reason I'm having to eat the words of talking trash about all them trucks for all this line. But that's right, I still got a full size truck now. I still got my L250. I still feel manly every now and then. I just can't afford to go out there and crank it up and feel manly. But think fuel cost. We hunt a lot of trips at the coast. You're talking 2 hours, 2.5 to the coast. That's roughly 4 hours, maybe 5 hours. That's pretty expensive. Now, I mean, gas is $3.40-something a gallon. I mean, give or take. One day it's $3.30, next day it's $3.60. I mean, I don't know what that's about. And if you pull on a boat, you're definitely not getting good fuel mileage. Boat takes fuel. Scouting. Do you scout now? Like if I wanted to go to the coast, would I drive that 2 hours to go to the coast? Or with fuel prices, I mean, to go to the coast and back in my other truck, it would be a tank of fuel. Tank of fuel, $60. Was it worth $60 to go scout? Yeah. Yeah, so Dustin saying hunting license getting ridiculous out of state, South Carolina. No option to lifetime buy. So all in, I'm around $600 in tags permit. Exactly. Now I know he's in North Carolina and he can come over in South Carolina a lot to hunt because I know where he hunts. But would that change stuff? Hey Jeff. Hey Mr. Wayne, when do you pull a boat? This year, sir. This year. In the Honda Ridgeline. You right. The Honda gonna be pulling it, son. But hotel stays. Are you going to, I mean, let's think about it. If you did a day trip, let's say a Saturday, and went to the coast to hunt, and it would cost you $60 in a trip, how much more would it just cost you to stay at a hotel and just stay down there for another day? I mean, there's a lot of, it's sad that we're having to think about stuff like that now. Yeah, all your land's in South Carolina. So, with that being said, when does it come a point when you say, okay, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to pay for that one state. Will other states benefit from it? Very questionable. Fuel is definitely something to take into consideration this year. But again, we're going to Michigan. Is that one of them that, hey, I'm not going to go to Michigan this year because fuel's that high? Well, sadly, I'm just going to throw it out there. In the past 2 years, it ain't got no better. I don't understand why, but they ain't got no better. Is it going to be better next year? Do I put off a trip because gas is too high and I go next year? Well, hey, the way this war is going over there, heck, gas might be higher. You know, it's hard to weigh it. What's the longest duck trip or hunting trip? Let's just say, what is the longest hunting trip you ever been on? 10 minutes in the truck with Tony. That's how long. uh, at this raggedy truck, it's got cold air blowing in the floorboard. That was the first thing he asked me with my new Honda. He said, does cold air blow into the floorboard while going down the road? Oh man. Yeah, I agree. What Jaber says, I hope you pray you don't have to buy fuel from the marina. Yeah, that's an extra couple dollars. You know, some of our old boats, you can't buy fuel at the marina unless you take your oil with you. But ammo prices, that sure ain't came down. My favorite TSS is still up there. That joker is like Snoop Dogg high. I mean, like, it's up there high. I can't even afford to reload that stuff myself. Now, I will say, copper was looking really good. I bought some copper. I got, I think, about 8 pounds of copper. I bought 4 pounds from BPI and I bought 4 pounds of Boss copper because I just want to see how it was. So I got 8 pounds of copper. I paid $60 for each one. It was 60 and 60. Now that all that went on with copper, if y'all follow copper and one particular brand, they won their case pretty much, and copper completely changed, and we're going to be able to shoot it. The price of copper shells went up. Not even the shells, the pellets itself. Like, it went from $60 up to like 70 something dollars just overnight. Wow, because they approved it. I mean, the copper ain't. We're making that in the States. TSS is coming from China. I get that. Bismuth is too. The TSS was here. Who's still on the? I can't afford nothing but steel, and steel's what I'm going to shoot this year. Hey, steel prices have jumped up. I mean, even lead for Dove, it's still expensive. I mean, you know, what happened to the $10, $11 a box? It's $14, $16 a box now. And you know, when you go dove hunting, it's like one box of shells for one bird. So, you know, you at least got to take 4 boxes with you. But Jeff says, if you want to hunt, you're going to have to pay the price. It ain't going to be any cheaper. That's exactly right. That's where I was going with vehicle, Louisiana, aka in dirt road. So I did ask that question. Where was the longest you ever hunted? From South Carolina, I've been to Texas twice. It's not Wichita. It is Knox County in Texas. Been there twice. That is the furthest I've ever hunted. Me and Tony went out to Oklahoma, and I know that town starts with an S, and I can find it, but I cannot think of it. Literally 30 minutes maybe from where we were staying, we were right at the Texas line. Like, it was pretty much the top part of the Panhandle. That is definitely the furthest I've ever been hunting. Jeff said he has enough bismuth for 2 years. Copper is in a high demand in new data centers. You know, that's a valid point, Philip. I didn't take that in consideration. That's I was fixing to say something that I was going to regret. I was going to say something about these cameras that start with an F that we could use the copper out of them, but I'm not bringing that name up. Not bringing that name of that company up. But you're right. It could be a demand on copper. I remember now, wiring for your house is kind of like gas prices. When gas is up, the price of wire's up because the plastic around it is petroleum. But I remember when we were thinking about building, I bought 2 rolls of wire. I think I paid like $110, $115 a roll. It wasn't 6 months later that junk went at $300 something a roll, and I don't think it's went down since. But occasionally you see people posting online in groups and stuff. Hey, go check your Walmart out. They got this brand marked down for season. Man, they had some TSS turkey loads at this particular wherever this guy's Walmart was for like $10 a box. TSS. Now you're talking like, and it was 12 gauge. You're talking like $70, $80 a box. Easy. Like the cheap stuff. Of course I went and ours didn't have that. Ours didn't even have no TSS. It didn't even have no turkey loads. So I didn't get the opportunity to get one of them deals. But, you know, if I could have got some TSS turkey loads for $10 a box, now granted, I know it would only been 5, but turkey loads are high payloads. You could have took that payload and then cut them in a fourth for waterfowl duplex and made a whole lot cheaper. I can promise you. Sayre, Oklahoma. I think that's how you say it. Sayre, Oklahoma. That's right, Tommy. You could take a lot of boxes at $10 a TSS. Hey, you could buy a lot of $10 boxes and resell them at the flea market. And I mean, like, that's pretty crazy. But practice ammo. Man, have you looked at 28 gauge and 410? Now I love my 28 gauge. I ain't even gonna lie. Now I bought 2 reloaders. I got 2 reloaders. I got one for AA to just for reloading my lead for skeet, and I bought a second one for my waterfowl of copper, only because the AA hole, once you shoot it, the hole is kind of, you know, is the top of it is bent, where the new copper ones is a brand new hole, which is a little bit taller, and it has never had a crimp. So it crimps a little bit different, and I would have to change my machine to fit that hole and then switch it back to AA. And I was lucky enough to find a mech in Georgia. I think it was $100, and Jay went and picked it up for me. You know, mechs are great machines. I love my mechs, but I'm reloading 28 gauge because, my goodness, $16 a box is crazy for lead. So, is the price of ammo affecting you? You know, let's just talk deer ammo. A box of 30-06 or 308, like good stuff, it is almost to the point where you really don't want to even go sight in your scope, because man, that's like $5 a shot now. I mean, 30-06, I think the last time I bought a box of 30-06, I think it was like close to $40 a box, and that's 20 shells or 20 cartridges. That's pretty ridiculous. So, are some of y'all hunters that are hunting with rifles? Are you dropping down calibers just to save on money? That's an option. There's plenty of smaller calibers that get the job done. Are you looking for places that have better deals on them? But that goes into, if brand company A has it in stock for $20 a box, but brand company down the road 40 minutes has it for $4 cheaper a box, is it worth me driving that with the fuel prices? That takes some thinking about. And when you buy ammo offline and get it shipped, now you're having to pay hazmat fees. Is that even worth it these days? Let's talk hunting dogs. There's a big talk with DNR about, what they're going to plan on doing with hunting dogs this year. They're going to allow this with deer, not allow it. Have you seen the prices of good breeded dogs? I mean, that's like almost buying a car. It's almost got to the point of like horses. Like, you almost need to put insurance on your dog like they do horses. Check out the new Winchester's Supreme Long Range. A lot of hype and really good price. Yeah, I have to look into that. Now, I'm not a big deer hunter. I was actually going to make a video the other day, talking about deer hunters and how hot it is outside and how they like it. Man, I would take a cold day right now of waterfowl hunting. Oh my gosh, I'd take a cold day right now. But dogs, anybody buying dogs? Good trained dogs? Man, I mean, what's it cost each year to keep them in kennels? Not kennels as in somebody else's kennel, but like you have your own kennels. What's the prices of that this year? I mean, food, training, the tracking collars are definitely haven't came down on price, but at least with tracking collars, the technology has got so much better. And you're gonna say hunting dogs ain't a requirement, and that is very true, especially depending on certain waterfowl. Many successful hunters don't even have them. But is that going to change the game if DNR changes allowing dogs to be ran? Maybe. What about boats and decoys? My goodness, have you seen the prices of boats? I mean, like aluminum boats? Woo. I mean, and if you got county taxes, they want to get their share of it. So what are we doing on boats? Or is the cost of boats going up or down? A boat stands for break out another 1,000. Gene said his dog costs about $200 a month. Yeah, I can believe that. I know you got a bigger lab. I got a Boykin. I mean, we all take them to the vets, but $200 a month. When does it? We're not going to say when does it come to a point when you say, okay, I'm not feeding the dog. Not saying that, but when does it come to a point where you say, okay, when this one is no longer around, I'm not replacing. I'll just go retrieve my own ducks. I mean, that's a good question. 5,000 or more for a starter dog. Absolutely. I agree. That is the starting. If you are looking for a well-breeded dog, that's about it. And that kind of almost is hard to say. Like, how much is a dog? $5,000. $5,000. I could buy a car for that. Well, you used to could buy a car for that, but we just throw that around now that $5,000 for a dog that could eat something and then be stopped up and kick the bucket. That's what I was saying there. And it's almost to the point that we have put insurance on our dogs like horses. Training prices in Georgia right now, $650 a month and up to however much you want to spend. And yeah, you're right, Jay. And you know what? Their books are slam full. Most of these dog trainers, completely full. If you want to get on a waiting list, you at least 2-3 years out. I can promise you. You might be further than that on big name dog trainers. Some of them that, compete. I'm just glad my dog didn't come with a certificate. But let's talk trucks. Have you seen the prices of trucks lately? I mean, some of these newer trucks, like, are we keeping on? We just gonna keep fixing our old ones? Yeah, probably so. I did trade mine in. you will see the Honda as my main duck truck this year. Do we have big diesel trucks, half tons, mid-sized trucks, SUVs, or are we going back to the, hey, let's get everything we can in the Honda CRV or a Honda Civic and hit the road? Like, that's almost what it's come down to. Cornerstone Dog Academy is the way to go. You want to talk about the crazy price? Look at the new UTV price. Yeah, side by sides are ridiculous. Like, I got my side by side during COVID. It was at the beginning of COVID, and they were doing first responder discounts because of COVID, and they were trying to do everything for firefighters and EMS and police and all that, which is a good thing. Thank you, Polaris. Thank you for what you did. I ordered mine during COVID, like when everything was shut down. I placed my order, and I think it was something stupid too. Like, the guy was like, "Yeah, you're gonna have to put a deposit down." I'm okay. How much? Oh, just $100. $100 on a $14,000 device. Yeah, that's just holding your spot. We don't really have to take a deposit, because if you don't buy it, somebody else is going to come buy it the next day, which he was right. And during COVID, people wasn't working, so the parts and them building it was so much of a delay. Like, even if you could find one, they were upcharging because they had them in stock. But mine then was a 570 crew cab Polaris. It was $14,000, and they did a $2,000 first responder, so I think it was like 12, which is, $12,000 is a lot. Now, granted, it is a 4-seater with a bed. It is almost like a Suzuki Sidekick. Probably like a Jeep CJ5. Like, it's big. But you look at the 4-wheel prices. You're talking $6,000-$7,000 for a 4-wheeler. It wasn't that long ago. I'm gonna look at that seriously. It wasn't that long ago I was in high school. Okay, maybe it was a little bit. It might have been a little bit. Okay, it might have been. We might be getting closer to celebrating our 25th anniversary of being out of school. But hey, it doesn't feel that long ago. But for $14,000 back when I was in high school, you could roll off of a dealership's parking lot with a brand new Honda car. Brand new. Like EX. It was still a Civic, but it was brand new. Like, it's crazy. And my side by side was the base model. Like, it has power steering, and that's it. It's a 570 4-door or 4-person, nothing special. But you want to see some prices, throw a roof on it, throw a windshield on it, throw some doors on it, and boy, does that price jump. Throw heat, and then some of them's got air conditioning, and you're talking a lot of money. Now, I'm not saying you got to have that to go hunting. I'm definitely not saying that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying the prices are just something else. And one of the things that I was looking to accomplish when I was looking at getting rid of my Silverado was, my Silverado is the secondary truck. Like, it is, we call it the trash truck, because it was what you took the trash off with, the Home Depot truck, the Walmart. I took the kids to school in it. Like, that was my secondary truck that I drove to work. I did want something better on fuel. I considered getting a car, like a coupe or a sedan. Like, it would be nicer just to drive the 10 minutes to work versus something that's only getting like 14 miles a gallon. So when I saw that Honda, it was fully loaded leather, had way more horsepower, could tow the exact same stuff. The bedside was the same, and it got better fuel mileage. That's kind of a win-win. Like I said, I still got my big truck, but are we considering some of this stuff when coming into hunting? Now Silverado that I did have, it was 2-wheel drive. I definitely considered it one hunting because it come down to, well, if I go to down there near Liberty Hill, did it rain? If it rained, then no, I couldn't drive that 2-wheel drive truck because I'd get stuck. Could the old peg leg V6 get me unstuck? That was my considerations. Could I really use that truck for hunting? Sometimes I had to drive my 250. And a lot of times I didn't like driving my 250 to public places because, let's face it, some people just cut tires because you're out of state. I can promise you that happens. If you got an out-of-state tag and you show up somewhere in the middle of Arkansas, you probably going to make somebody mad. Mississippi, happens all the time. You see it all the time. Yeah, I'm not wanting to take my F-250 to get my tires slashed. Because if I get my tires slashed, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to take out a loan for that. The new Polaris now is $1,500 with AC right now. It's over. The new Polaris in Georgia, $1,500 with AC right now is over. I think that's CCs. I got you. I'm thinking you saying that CCs is now over 40 grand. I mean, that is crazy. I don't get it. I don't get these new Silverados that's costing. I mean, even go look at the Dodge. You know, I got that bright idea. Hey, I was going to go trade my 250 diesel in for a brand new gas Dodge. Now, I like Dodges. Some people are going to be like, Dodge. I mean, Dodge front end and an F-250 front end look like some of the beefiest trucks coming down the road. I mean, they just look like they are ready to take over the road. But, yeah, I pulled up in the parking lot at the Dodge dealership. And, you know, it did not take me very long to get back in my truck and say, you know what? That diesel ain't looking too bad right now. You know, when you go to the Dodge dealership and a middle grade Dodge is $60,000, man, I can't think of the Chevrolet's new model 4-wheel drive. It's the is it ATX, something AT4 or 4AT, whatever that model is. Go look at that sticker price. Woo. Like, I guess I finally became old enough to be like talking like my parents. You know, I can't believe people pay that much money for that truck. That's what I paid for my house. Well, that's almost coming true these days. Are we just getting a truck just to beat around? That's what I did with mine. I wanted something a little bit better, something a little bit nicer, something that actually, you know, I could sit over here and roll the window up over there. You know, it was getting rid of all them manual door locks. But how can you start hunting without going broke? Buy used guns? Yeah, that's it. Jaybird AT4. I knew it was something in a 4. That price on that Chevrolet. Oh my gosh. How can you go hunting without going broke? Can you borrow gear? Yeah. How can you go hunting without going broke when you're trying something new? Say you never been duck hunting before, but you know somebody has. Say, hey, you know, open your mouth and say, hey, can I borrow waders? Can I borrow a jacket? I want to, you know, try it before, you know, see if I like it. Turkey hunt the same way. Buy, use, and take care of what you have. Exactly. You could save money by public land hunting. You can do that out of state. You don't have to have a guide. Will you have as much success? Probably not. But again, are you doing it for numbers and a Facebook photo of a pile? Or are you doing it to have fun? Now, one of the times when we went to Oklahoma, me and Tony, we already hunted that morning. We wasn't hunting that afternoon. We hunted that morning. And we were done, I don't know, like 10 o'clock. Like everybody, I'm pretty sure got their limit. We were done back at the house where we were staying like 10 o'clock. I'm like, looking on the map, I'm like, hey, we already got our bird permit. Why don't we go dove hunting in Oklahoma? It's in season. Maybe we see some quail. That was in season too. So we rode over to public land. We didn't see a single bird. It wasn't. I think the only bird I saw was a floater in my eye that I blinked, and was that a bird or not? But we had the best time because we got to spend time together, and it took, oh my gosh, it was like an hour to get out there, and then we ended up on this dirt road, and we drove for hours before we saw any kind of civilization. And I mean, it was awesome. Did we kill anything? Absolutely not. Did we put any meat in the freezer? Absolutely not. But we had a good time. Start with one species. You can't say, hey, I'm going to go get them all in 1 year. You can. It's going to cost you. Say, hey, let's go do this, and this is what we're going to do this year. That's kind of what I'm wanting to do in Michigan. I want to hunt the Great Lakes. I honestly don't, and me and Tony going to be hunting with Gene there. I don't know why they call it the Great Lakes, because that is not a lake. Like that's like an ocean. It really is an ocean. It really ain't a lake. Like we have a lake, and it's called the Cadabra. But now to think about it, we call that a river when actually it's a lake. Maybe we got confused in life. But we're going to Michigan. Why? I want to hunt Michigan. I want to hunt the Great Lakes. Like I've never been to the Great Lakes. I don't even know what Michigan looks like. That's going to be we're going to Michigan. Scratch that off the list. Hey, I want to go hunt turkeys in Texas. Went and hunt turkeys in Texas. One of my goals is to go hunt, and Jay Bird's going to know it. Me and him want to go hunt turkeys in Florida. Is it going to be next year? No, it ain't looking like that. Are we planning for maybe 2028? Maybe. But at least we have a mindset of what we want to do. Just got to save up for it. And possibly don't tell our wives what they cost. So, Ginger, if you listen, Florida trip, $600. That's all Jay needs is $600. But that's a new name there. I ain't never seen Gene Kine in here. If you go to kill birds, you're going to be disappointed. Go spend time with family or friends. Absolutely. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Jeff says the sea. Salt-free oceans. I agree. I mean, why do they call it the Great Lakes? Like they ought to call that the Great Ocean. And I've never been to the Great Lakes. And I promise you, we probably ain't going to see that while we up there because it's going to be cold. It's probably going to be half frozen. But I think it would be cool to be standing at the Great Lakes to see water on them windy days. The windy days where there isn't any water in like a bay because it's done blew all the water over to the other side of the states. But it ought to be like Canada. And the water on Canada goes up. I mean, think about that. The water on this side goes down, but it goes up on this because the winds are so powerful that it's pushing the water. I'd like to see that. Like, that's one of my to-do lists. Too late, she ain't buying it. Dang, sorry, Jay, I try. But me and you going to go turkey hunting in Florida if we have to, I don't know. We're going. It's going to happen. Your pants are going to be start a fire. I I'll take you out there to the bay. It's big. Yeah. I mean, you got to have goals, and that's what it is. We're going to have a good time. I can't wait. I told Tony we're taking the Super Honda. That's what we're going to call it, the Super Honda. Uh, you know, how can you save money? Exactly. Just what Gene was talking about. How can you save money? Well, I'm going to go hunt with somebody that I've never met personally. Never met Gene. Never shook hands with the guy. But I've had him on the live. I talk to him all the time on Instant Messenger, Facebook Messenger, or whatever. I call him. We talk on the phone. Same way I met with Jay. Never met Jay in my life. I have now, but not when I originally met him. Jay says, come hunt in Georgia. Okay, I'll go hunt with him. That's a way to save money. Now, is it a little scary? Maybe. Maybe the first time I didn't know Jay. Maybe he wanted to put me in the freezer. But, that's one thing about being fat. I'm just going to say there's one benefit for being fat. It's going to take more than one person to kidnap you. Just remember that. It's going to take at least 3 people to kidnap my fat butt and throw me in the van. So, is it dangerous to go hunt with somebody? Yes, there is. There is a danger when you drive somewhere and go hunt with somebody. But this age in technology, you can search whoever too. Buy gear slowly. You don't have to go out and buy the best camo on the first time you go out. I hear you, Gene. Oh boy, that's funny. Buy gear slowly. You don't have to have. I started out with a pump. Boy, did that snowball down a big old mountain. Facebook Marketplace. You can find a lot of stuff on Facebook Marketplace. I mean, like a lot of good stuff. If you don't mind your camo mismatching, which I don't know if any of mine match in the seasons. Hunt with experienced hunters. That's one of the things I've been talking about. If you're new to the lives and the channel, I've been talking about this for a long time. There's a lot of smart people, smart hunters, smart educated hunters that is going to go to the grave with so much knowledge. Now, I'm not saying give out your secret spots. I am not saying that at all. I wouldn't give out my secret spot neither. But if somebody was asking me, hey, I want to come hunt South Carolina, where would I go? You could lead them in a better direction than just Onyx. But how many people do we see at the boat ramp? CJ Bird, be safe. Took me forever to buy a snow spread. Yeah, Jeff. I mean, you talking dozens of birds. And I know y'all put y'all's out before even the ground freezes. But with that being said, I talked about it. Meeting people at the boat ramp, especially if you're hunting public. If you're hunting public, guys, especially on a river or a lake, for the most part, everybody knows where the holes are. I mean, out of all the years hunting, there's typically not this hole. Oh, look at this new hole that just appeared that the birds are in. Not really. Everybody knows where all the spots are. You just got to beat the person there. So with that being said, when somebody comes up in a kayak, do you say, this spot's taken? Or do you say, hey, well, come on over here and hunt? I mean, will they take the spot next week? Probably. Did you take the spot from somebody else? Probably. You can meet some really good people out there. There's no telling what kind of friendship you might strike up by hunting with somebody else. It could be the last time you hunt with somebody, you'd be like, God, dog, that joker was shooting everything, like shooting like 2 miles away. Could be this is where I was talking about. Could be a teachable moment. Some of the older folks could be teaching to these younger generations. You know, some of the older generations be like, oh my God, they just shooting at everything and riding up and down the water with the radio. Did anybody probably tell them that? You go, well, that's common sense. Well, common sense ain't too common some days. And there's a lot of times I don't have common sense. I mean, sometimes I'll look at a problem and can't figure it out. And then somebody comes up and just says, hey, why don't you do this? Well, you know, I ain't never thought about that. You know, you can give people advice. You ain't got to yell it at them. I just got 2 butt squirters and $10 in the garage sale, replaced the batteries, and they work. That's right. That's one thing that I want to get this year. I really want to get, it's not the butt squirters decoys, but the ones that kick their feet that move up. I think Onyx, starts with A. Oh, man. They make decoys. Brain just literally went dead. Avion, I think that's it. The Avion kickers, the legs that go like that, and they splash. I really want to get 1 or 2 of them this year. But you'll be surprised what you can find on Marketplace. Look at the end of the season. Say you just went through, yeah, that's it, Gene. If you just come out of turkey season, get on Facebook Marketplace, type in turkey hunting. All right, end of dove season, type in dove hunting. You're going to find decoys. You might not have it this year, but you'll have it for next year. What's the most expensive piece of hunting gear you ever bought? Ooh. Maybe that might be one of them other ones you might not want to answer out loud, especially if you're significant others in the room. For the most part, I'd say probably about 95% of it, she probably knows everything that I buy. She is my CFO, my chief financial officer. She knows what every one of them taxidermists, what I pay for shells, reloading supplies, shotguns, trips. She knows it all. Now, one thing about it, if I ever die, she at least knows what the shotguns are worth versus, hey, you know, when somebody's spouse dies, oh, he said he only paid $200 for that shotgun. Yeah, I buy it. That's a Browning, or that's a Beretta, or that's a retail. That's a gold trigger. I give you 200. Yeah, that's what he paid for it. I saw him. I think he paid like 175. That's what I'm gonna do. Yes, sir. What is the most expensive? Could you say a boat? Because you, in theory, can use that fishing, riding around. Is it dedicated to waterfowl hunting? Then yeah, that could be the most expensive. Shotguns are definitely up there now. Shotguns are getting up there in price for sure. Waders are pretty expensive these days, especially if you do get some of them lifetime warranty ones. Yeah, mama. Yeah, I agree, Jeff. Hodges made some. Not Hodges. I'm thinking Powder. Higgin made some good products. Maybe the most expensive thing that I ever bought hunting is my son. I have said for years, I can't wait till he gets old enough to go hunting and fishing. Oh my God. I turned him on to fishing. And his daddy, look at this lure. Look at this rod. Look at this. I'm telling you, I may never financially recover from that kid. Sick of gear, absolutely, Jeff. Uh, what's the best bargain you got? I call these Tony deals. Now, Tony, man, I don't know where Tony be getting some of the deals he be finding on Facebook. I think his Facebook has a search feature that my Facebook don't have. You know how like eBay and Amazon, you can go up to the top and say sort by the cheapest? I think that's what he does. He just go in there and be like, yeah, man, I found this on Facebook Marketplace for $20. That's like $400. Yeah, I got it for $20. Like, how'd you get that? Like, he finds these deals. That's what we always say. When we get a good deal, we got a Tony deal. What was one of them Tony deals? Man, I love some clearance items. I ain't even gonna lie. What's one hunting item that you'll never spend money on? Sucker. Absolutely. Now that I will say, them sick of people say they are the warmest. But my Tideways battery operated heated. What's worth every penny you ever spent on something? Ammo and my heated waders. Absolutely. I cannot stand for my feet to get cold. If my feet are cold, I'm done. 100%. My feet are done or cold, I'm done. Going to the truck. I go to the house. Don't Love my heated stuff. You right, my kids cost a ton. Gotta buy everything twice. Absolutely everything twice. How much do you spend each year hunting season? I asked that at the beginning of the thing. How much do you think you spend? Do you even keep up with it? Let's just talk hunting season. I'm fixing to go real soon to Memphis to the Ducks Expo. Is that hunting? It's actually an expo. I am going to be in the retail booth. Is it podcast? Is it like, can you say I'm going to be meeting and shaking hands with other people and maybe get on the channel and talking to people and talking to vendors and stuff like that? Yeah. But it's still 14 hours away. Still going to be hotels rooms. So how much do you think you spend? If you are deer hunting, waterfowl hunting, and turkey hunting, and you do any out of state, I don't even want to throw that up there. I don't even want to say. It's best not to say. Could a teenager realistically get into hunting today? Could you, if you were 18 again, could you get into hunting right now? I think you could. I do think you could. You would start out just like the rest of us. 870, a pump, and a retay, the GPS or Winchester SXP. I think that's the pump. Yeah, you could do it. I definitely think you could do it. That's exactly right. My child care prices have went down, so I could take that child care price and move it over here into the hunting price. Um, what's one thing in hunting that has become overpriced? Ammo is definitely up there. What would be something else that's been overpriced? Maybe calls. There's definitely, you can get duck calls. You can get cheap duck calls, like cheap. You can get regular duck calls, and then you get brand A world champion duck calls that are 3-4 times what a regular one would cost. Is that something? Gene, I know that's correct. I'm glad you brought that up. He said his group sets up kids all the time giving away stuff. Exactly. Decoys to 2 kids. I've done that. I've had decoys. I put on Facebook Marketplace. Hey, these decoys are free if you are under 21 years old. Absolutely. I've had a bunch of kids show up. You giving these decoys away? They're yours, buddy. They're yours. Yes. Absolutely, Gene. We could help that generation out. Exactly. That's exactly what I was saying earlier. There's so much stuff that we, knowledge wise, we could help other people out. Um, Jeff says everything's overpriced. Man, there's nothing at the top right now that's like just sticks out that says, man, it's overpriced. Like, I don't know. What are y'all thinking? What's something that is overpriced? This channel, this video, this live that you're watching is not overpriced. So if you watched any ads, I greatly appreciate it. But what's something that's overpriced? I know that's going to take a couple minutes. It takes y'all about 30 seconds to type that in after I ask the question because I know there's a delay. But what's one thing that's expensive? Tony's going to say me. I know that. I know Tony's going to say RD's overpriced. That's probably true. Ammo? Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I definitely think ammo is definitely up there. That is something that's overpriced. I think also hotels. Hotels are ridiculous. I was looking at hotels in Memphis for the Ducks Unlimited. I purchased mine 2 months ago, but I forgot to purchase a day early. And I was like, well, I'm just going to call up there. They were already booked. All the other hotels around, let's just say $200 a night. So I told my wife, I said, look up the Bass Pro Shop and see what one room there is. So she looked for the 3 nights. It was $1,000 for 3 nights at the Bass Pro Shop hotel. I was like, that is ridiculous. It was like $300 something a night. Needless to say, we're not staying at the Bass Pro Shop. Now, I would say it'd be awesome. Could you imagine each hotel room has a balcony and it overlooks the store? Like at night, you have a screened in balcony with rocking chair. Yeah, that'd be nice. I mean, it really would be. But I don't think it's no $300 nice. And two, if you call about a hotel room, we saw this, especially teal hunting. You call on a Monday and say, hey, how much is this room? And they'll say $100 a night. Well, you didn't make any plans because you wait and see what the weather's going to do. Now you call on a Thursday, the exact same room that you got a price on. Now, because it's got closer to the weekend, they done went up $150. Same room. You can do some really good savings too if you shop around and get some discounts. Get an RV for the road trip. I done sold my camper. I couldn't afford to pull the thing. So closing for tonight, we've been on for an hour. This conversation just reminds people that, you don't have to have the newest. You don't have to have the greatest. You don't have to have the biggest boat. You don't have to have the most expensive truck. It's about spending time outdoors and making memories. I can promise you, you're probably not going to remember a truck 20 years from now, unless it was a lemon and left you on the side of the road. You probably remember that. But just like these taxidermists, I was standing in front of the boat the other night. Wait, the camera angle changes. I put some new lights up back here. You can see the brownish color on the wall. I was standing there just looking at it. TV wasn't on, nothing. I was just standing there, and the wife came in. She was like, "You looking at them, ain't you?" I'm like, "Yep." She's like, "That's a lot of memories." I'm like, "It is a lot of memories." Like, I remember where this one was. I remember who was with me on this one. And I remember that, like, it just went down memory lane. That's what you get. That's exactly what you get. It's all about the memories. We all have a role helping others out, getting started. And, that's where them worm packages are. That was something I was doing this year, and I'm still doing it. Is putting the scripture on the back saying, hey, and I'm handing them out. Doesn't really take a whole lot of conversation. It's got some spiritual stuff on there. Talks about God. It's printed on the back. I hand it to them. They don't even see it. They just put it in their tackle box. Eventually they'll see it, or they'll look after I'm gone. Don't take any one-on-one. So that leads me into, what the preacher talked about this Sunday, and it was very interesting. This is what I'm going to close on. We could be one of three types of people. I want to say it correctly. Three types of Christians. I guess that'd be the way we can say it. We can be the, hey, I'm going out and I'm telling everybody, you need to be saved. You need to be saved. You be saved. You be saved. And they get saved. And then you gone. You moved on to the next person. Got to be saved. Got to be saved. Got to be saved. Got to be saved. And you're not spending any time teaching them. Or you can be on the other end of the spectrum that says, hey, I am going to work in every mission that they have. I'm going to be the Sunday school. I'm going to clean up at the church. When they have an event that is going out to go cut grass, I'm going to go do that. And I'm going to do this. But you're spending all the time doing missions, but you also never tell a person about God or Jesus and what they done in your life. You're just busy doing busy work. Is it needed? Yeah, it's needed. Is the other way needed too? Yeah, it is. But we need to be in the middle. You need to tell people. And that's what I said. We need to meet people where they are in life. You don't know if your buddy's struggling if you don't ask. As men, yeah, sometimes we don't like to talk about it. I understand that. But I can promise you, if you hunted with somebody that you call your best friend, and you say, hey, that's my best friend, I can promise you, you're going to be able to tell something in their life is going on, probably without them even talking to you. If they just sitting like that, they just fidgeting all the time, or just, oh man, or angry. I don't never ever recall Bill being angry. Why is he angry now? I don't know. Maybe he's just mid-40s. Maybe he didn't sleep good. Well, you know what, fellas? Maybe we need to check on the other person. Instead of just riding down the road and not talking, we probably need to do a better job on checking on our friends. Said it a dozen times on this show. It could be your last hunting season. I'm looking at it like I got 5 more hunting seasons. If you put it like this, hey, I got 5 more dove seasons and my son's going to be going to college. Wow. That just changed everything. You think, oh, I got time. When you start putting seasons on there and say, hey, I only got 5 dove seasons, that's 5 years. It is 5 years. But when you look at it, dove season's almost upon us. Hey, we fixing go in August. It's going to be dove season. There's going to be waterfowl season. It's going to be turkey season. And then for too much longer, you back at dove season. Yeah, you got 4 or 5 years left with somebody. Could be the last time you hunt with your buddy. Could be the last time your buddy hunts with you. Ain't none of us promised tomorrow. This could be the last time you see me on a live. I mean, in theory. So, you know, I hear you, Jeff. Jeff said he'd been fighting demons lately. I won, but it was because of friends and family. Absolutely. You know, sometimes looking at a problem, as in when you say, hey, I've lost everything, or I've hit rock bottom. I've hit rock bottom. That's the worst thing ever. It's not. It might feel like it's the worst thing right then. But when you hit rock bottom, you can't get no lower. And when you hit rock bottom, you finally on firm foundation. You're on solid ground. You can start over. And you know, I heard this the other day, and I can't even think of the verse. And I know it's in that song that she sings, but she's talking about in that part. I'm fixing to go somewhere else, the squirrel moment. Where the Christian song is talking about, he makes me lay down in green pastures. We all know that verse too. He makes me lay down in green pastures. Who? God. God makes you lay down in green pastures. Why? Because he is a shepherd. Jesus was our shepherd too. He's wanting to take the lost sheep and bring him back over here in the green pasture. Sometimes you have to tie the daggone horse to the post so he don't get back out, and you make him stay in that pasture. Sometimes God has to come in and knock our feet out from under us. He has to put us on our back. You know why? Where we can only look up. Exactly. Sometimes the only thing he can do is knock us all down to make us look up. So think about that. Rock bottom ain't always rock bottom. And Jeff, I'll be praying for you, man. I know about them demons, but I struggled with so much before I got on some anxiety medicine. I had so much PTSD from fire and EMS, and like I said 1,000 times before, if I never saw another person die or in pain, I'll be fine with that. But with that being said, Jeff, and you was talking about that, and then me saying about my anxiety and getting on anxiety meds, my life is totally different now. I mean, I should have probably been on this stuff years ago. But 2 weeks ago, the preacher was talking about when people were asking, who sent you? Or who are you talking about? And he says, I am is who I'm talking about. In capital, I am Yahweh. And the preacher said, which is very, very interesting. When you say Yahweh, and even back in that time period, probably not these days, but back in that time period, a lot of people didn't say Yahweh. A lot of people didn't say I am, because that was like, you know, you can be in a restaurant or something, somebody drop a GD across the room and you look like that, like, oh my God, I can't believe they said that. That's pretty much what they said. When somebody said Yahweh or I am, that was like the holy of holy words. I can't believe you used that. But when you say Yahweh, the breathing techniques that it consists of, in the mouth movement and the air movement, you will experience twice in your life. And this is what the preacher pointed out with Yahweh. When you come out of the birth canal or C-section or however you come out, when you slapped on your butt, back, whatever, it's almost like you being in a pool when you're almost drowning. If you're older, that's how it's going to feel, because none of us remember being born. But that first breath, and then the second breath, Well, I can promise you, I've seen many people take their last breath. One of the calls I went on was a hospice patient. They didn't want to do nothing, and I'm telling you, if you ain't never watched somebody pass, that's okay. That's their last breath. Nope, one more. This is gonna be the last one. Nope, one more. It's hard. It's hard to watch, and it's just like being born. Exactly what Jesus did on the cross. You know, he had to lift himself up on that old rusty nail to keep getting his breath, keep getting that breath, and then that last breath. And you've seen it. I'm telling you, you're going to do it unless Jesus comes back before you die. That last breath, either by cardiac or COPD or whatever. Even if you were in a car wreck and you're going to take that breath like that, it's going to happen, and that exactly mimics Yahweh, because you know why? He's in the breath. He's literally the reason why you still have breath. He gives you that breath. So y'all think about that this week. Y'all think about uh, how many times you breathe on average. 16 times a minute times an hour times 24. Yeah, Yahweh. All right, y'all have a good week. Stay dry. It's going to be raining. We got big Bertha, big Deborah down there off of Florida. I told y'all weeks ago, hey, keep your eyes open. For Florida, something might come out. So we got tropical storm Bertha down there. It's going to go cross a little bit of Louisiana into Texas, and then the other tip of Mexico, which is like the Baja area of Mexico. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of rain, and Texas got hammered a couple weeks ago. The water going through is unreal. So y'all keep them in your prayers. Georgia, South Carolina, talking about a lot of rain this weekend. So just keep them and first responders in your prayers. And every week before closing, I say something about our military. Two of our military got killed this week. That's two people's families that are affected. Actually, it's probably more than that. But two families are now impacted. For what? For our freedom. You can like the war, not like the war. It was going to happen. Is it going to happen on their soil or our soil? It probably wasn't going to happen on our soil in my lifetime, but my kids, it's highly possible. So, be in prayers for those family members and other protection. It is definitely, oh my gosh, it's getting worse over there. I'm not going to definitely get in the political side of it, but it is definitely going to be worse. And I could say that, and then on the other hand, say, hey, I can't wait to dove season, because dove season's right around the corner, and I'm going to be going dove hunting, and I'm going to be going to the expo, and I'm going to be doing this. And the only reason I can do that is because of our freedom. I mean, that's all it is. So without people protecting us and fighting for our freedoms, it's so overlooked. It's just like hunting and being outdoors. Monday through Friday, I overlook the sunrises. Heck, most time I'm inside for the sunsets. I don't even give half the time God the glory for the sunrises. It's got to go to work. Got to go to work. And I ain't even giving him praise for going to the work. That's something we all probably need to work on. But I'm going to close this in prayer. Our Heavenly Father, thank you so much for what you do for us. Thank you for blessing us. Thank you for allowing us to be in a country that's free. Thank you for giving us the outdoors and showing us what you did, what you created. And I was talking to somebody this week. Man, how pretty our outdoors is, how pretty our nature is. If this is earth, what's heaven look like? It is the promised land was flowing with milk and honey. If you can make a river flow of milk, how great is heaven? And I can't wait to spend it with you. And I pray for the people that's sick, and I pray for the people over fighting for our freedoms. Protect them. Put an extra protection around them. Protect their families. Give them rest. Be with our military. Be with our first responders as Bertha's coming over Texas. That is very flat land. There's going to be so many swiftwater incidents. As them first responders leave their house, a lot of their houses are going to be underwater. A lot of them have to go do this for a job. It's not even volunteer. It's a job. They having to leave their family that's probably underwater also to go help somebody else. Be with them. Bring them back home safely. Be with the DOT, the highway patrol, the police, the EMS, the wrecker service. Protect them. Keep them safe. And as we get some rain in South Carolina and Georgia, we're way behind on rain. Our farmers are seeing it. Let this rain provide a lot of stuff that we need for all of us. Thank you for providing so much for us. And I thank you for what you've done. And I thank you for sending your son, your only son, to die on the cross for my sins. And thank you for everything you do. Amen. So y'all have a good rest of the week. And I really got to do something with this camera when I pray. Like, I need it to be like way back here. That's what I need. I need y'all not to see me up here all emotional. Y'all have a good week, and I'll see y'all next Wednesday at 8 o'clock. Y'all be safe. Matthew Knight with Satura Investors out of Charlotte. There's the information. The link to his website is scrolling across the banner down at the bottom, and it's also in the description. Today's episode is about helping business owners and working professionals like you who share a passion for the outdoors shooting sports, zeroing them in to their long-term financial goals. So if you need any information or contact or any other questions, contact Matthew. Flint Ridge Hauling Service, LLC, has partnered up with the channel. It is your go-to provider for all your hauling needs. They are not just any hauling service. They are an active DOT interstate hotshot hauling provider. Flint Ridge Service, LLC, prides itself in its reliable transportation services. This team ensures that your cargo is delivered safely and on time no matter the distance. Whether you need to transport goods across the county or state line, they have the capacity and the expertise to meet your hauling needs. Equipped with a smooth riding 40-foot air ride equipped trailer and a max hauling capacity of 20,000 pounds, there's no load too big or too small that they can't handle. Look no further than Flint Ridge Hauling Service, LLC.